Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines today. 211 million XRP. Vitalik Buterin fighting for a crypto future. Say it isn't so. Coinbase is being sued, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check it out. And Argentina and the IMF, I tell you this, we got Elizabeth Warren with a new crypto bill. We're going to hear from Perry Ann Boring and more. And guess what else? A new single digital world currency. And no, we're not talking about the US dollar. And yes, we're talking about XRP. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at the top of the screen. Dig Perspectives right there on Twitter. Give us a follow. Digital Perspectives News on Facebook over here on the right-hand side at the top. We do Sunday morning exclusive live streams there. They have turned out really fantastic. Please join us for that. It is March 18, 2022. Good morning, everybody. $1.813 trillion market cap for crypto. We're off by 0.87%. Bitcoin right now, 40,000 plus. Ethereum, 2,800 plus. And XRP is 78 cents. Let's take a look at the price range very quickly here. 78 cents on the bottom, 80 cents on the top. Lots to go over today, just like this. Getting ready to drop some more gold on my Glint Pay gold card because I don't like all this inflation in business that's going on around here. The cost of everything is going through the roof. This is the gold-based alternative to banking. You can buy, save, send, and spend right here on this card. I am loving this thing. And by the way, for all the gold bugs, yes, you can take physical delivery of this physically allocated gold to you, right to your house. And I'll be doing so as an example for all of you very shortly. Let's get into this. Link underneath the video. 211 million XRP coins transferred here. This appears to be a part of the transaction sending more than 40 million XRP to Mexico. Bitso, a local crypto unicorn and partner of Ripple Labs in providing on-demand liquidity services. We know the largest amount of it that was sent was 100 million to Binance Exchange. Bittrex transferred 35 million plus to the FTX exchange. It just fascinates me seeing that much flying around. You got to wonder, just like you got to wonder about this guy. Looks like somebody's got a public relations problem here. If Vitalik Buterin wants to fight for a crypto future, how about we start with the complete transparency? Yeah, how about that? Let's do the EEA and consensus public audit to kick it off right. What do you say, Vitalik? Yeah, Time Magazine featuring here what I believe is someone who has participated in one of the most corrupt, biggest scandals, financial scandals of the century. I really do believe that. And it looks like they've ditched the rainbows and unicorn shirt for the Prince of Crypto and his concerns. Let's be concerned about that audit. Let's be concerned about the fact that I don't believe the Ethereum network is as decentralized as they ever claimed it was. Here's more really concerning news here from James K. Filan. There is a class action lawsuit now against Coinbase alleging offer and sale of unregistered securities and listing 79 different tokens, yes, including XRP. Got digging around in this thing last night, and God bless Google. So this Coinbase lawsuit is reeking. When you go through this lawsuit, it reeks just like the entire approach to crypto that Gary Gensler has. And obviously, it's a separate law firm. We're going to get into it right now very quickly. So the Coinbase lawsuit reeks of Gary Gensler's entire approach to crypto. God bless Google search. Lo and behold, this is what I kicked up in just a very quick search. I can't wait for the rest of the Twitter sleuths to get a hold of this thing and tear it apart. And it's already starting to happen. Right here, lo and behold, what are the odds that Gary Gensler and Felipe Selende just happened to be on the same charity? Now, Felipe Selende's firm is actually a part of this class action lawsuit. It's the firm being representing the people in the class action. This is a Johns Hopkins charity that shows Philippe and I guess his wife on this charity for Johns Hopkins. Also, Gary Gensler. You know, is it ironic? I don't know. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But then you start looking around and look what we have here. Digital asset investor finds another connection here. This is Jordan A. Goldstein. What does it all mean? We don't know, but how do we find these things, right? I mean, how does this stuff keep coming up? Special counsel to Assistant Attorney General, National Security Division, and then take a look at this right here. Again, showing that, you have to wonder what is going on here. The attorney suing Coinbase used to work for a guy from Maryland, where Gary is from, that was nominated Assistant Attorney General under Obama. At the same time, Gary Gensler was being nominated to the head of the CFTC. What a small world is right. It's quite concerning. I see these things. They just make you go, Here's another thing that makes you go, and we're about to get into it because the second half of this video is about a single digital world currency as was pursued for the US dollar back in the days of the Bretton Woods. Talk about the power of the IMF here. The Argentine Senate will be voting on a letter of intent with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, that includes a provision discouraging the use of cryptocurrencies, which means you may be able to play around in that world, but they want the on and off ramps to be CBDCs or approved stable coins. Make no mistake about it. This is why I tell you, and I've said many times, I think the business with El Salvador, legal tender with Bitcoin, I don't believe that's over by a long shot, but we shall see. This here is Mike Novogratz talking on CNBC, and I'm not going to play but just a very short clip of this because we have so much to go over today. But Squawkbox says when there's bad stewardship of economies, Bitcoin provides a great alternative, says Novogratz on crypto, which he does. If you were in Russia, you would feel pretty stupid having all your money in rubles, which is a great point. But I have a question for Novogratz. What happens when Bitcoin loses the #1 crypto market cap? Understanding the tech doesn't work for payments and it loses the #1 market cap, why would someone store their money in Bitcoin? Serious question, for which he didn't answer. But take a listen to this quick clip here.
Fit the smell test for using it as a currency. You think it eventually will be a currency?
I don't think it'll be a currency. I think it will be a store of value. Okay. I think there'll be other, listen, Ethereum is already trading like a currency, right? It's the currency of culture. When people buy NFTs, they say, how many ETH do it cost? Oh, it was 1 ETH. It was 3 ETH.
1 ETH, it was 3 ETH. Yeah. Ask them how much it costs to actually settle the transaction in ETH, because that's a fortune too. A lot of this is really pushing the narrative of things that we know are not really viable solutions for the future of the Internet of Value, to be honest. There's a lot to be done here. This is Elizabeth Warren trying to jam her narrative on everyone and everything so she can introduce her new crypto bill. Take a listen.
Let's consider one of Putin's cronies who already has $1 billion or so in crypto that he wants to hide from the governments that are enforcing sanctions on oligarchs. Now, can this oligarch make it harder to trace his money if he hops from one blockchain to another, if he deposits those tokens into a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and if he uses a mixing service that launders his money with other people's money?
Thank you, Senator. So the scenario that you describe, where an oligarch has $1 billion to be able to launder, requires significant amounts of liquidity to be able to obfuscate that amount of money through the use of cryptocurrency. In fact, many times we've been able to identify...
I'm sorry, let me just remind you of what my question was again. What I'm asking is about the tools that are available. Now, he may have to break it up into multiple pieces of, who knows, $100 million at a crack. But the question I'm asking is, does hopping from one blockchain to another, does depositing tokens in a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and does using a mixing service all make it easier for him to hide his money?
So, Senator, the answer to that question is no, because the chain hopping that occurs, you need to actually provide the tokens, which in a transparent way that allows you to move across blockchains, we've actually got software that allows
so you don't think chain hopping makes it any easier to hide your money? How about depositing tokens in wallets that don't require identifying information?
You can always split the money up into wallets that don't require.
And that would help hide the money. And how about using a mixing service?
That doesn't remove the record of where the money actually sits.
But the question I'm asking is, does it make it harder to track the money?
No, so it doesn't make it harder to track the money, because
using a mixing service, you're telling me, doesn't make it harder to launder money?
The daily liquidity value of mixing services globally is about $30 million.
So you might have to do this day by day?
And we have done extensive work in tracking large sums of money through mixers that have led to the arrests of people and the disruption of their activity.
You know, I'm actually a little surprised by your answer, since you charge a lot of money to untangle and track assets through the system, and the system keeps developing more ways to obscure that money, and that's part of what you advertise.
What's interesting about this is she's not getting what she wants from the gentleman, so then she starts grandstanding on him, making him uncomfortable that he can't completely answer everything the way he needs to. But you know what? That's because it's about political posturing with her, and it's really about the fact that she's introducing a new crypto bill. That's what this is about. Take a look. It's right here. New crypto sanction bill targets publishing code facilitating transactions. And this is Senator Warren and a raft of Democratic co-sponsors today introduced a bill titled the Digital Asset Sanctions Compliance Enhancement Act, which would place sweeping restrictions on cryptocurrency ecosystems under the guise of bolstering sanctions against Russia for its unjustified invasion of Ukraine. And I say to you, and if you think whatever they put in place is going to go away once the Russia-Ukraine situation's over, I got land to sell you on planet Xanadu. She says, done this despite the fact there is no data suggesting that cryptocurrency has been used at all or can be meaningfully used by sanctioned parties to evade sanctions. So instead of using the real reason, which should be innovation and where the world is moving to, she wants to use fear as the motivator. Shame, shame, shame. But let's quickly go here, because this is Perry Ann Boring, who says the knee-jerk reactions to want to regulate crypto could have significant unintended consequences that could undermine the national security of our allies, says Perry Ann Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce. Crypto has played a key role in Ukraine being able to defend itself against Russia. She gives an example. I'm not going to play it for you here, but very quickly, she gives an example here how, Ukraine has been able to raise money and turn around and use that money very quickly, 24 hours a day, to support their cause. So now let's shift gears, because all of this leads to a larger conversation, which is the fact that we've been in a monetary war for many, many years with China and other areas around the world, especially China, and through trade and currency manipulation and devaluation and all those things. And we have this conflict now, which is really bringing the SWIFT sanctions into play, which also obviously brings digital currencies, the ability to evade sanctions, or just what we're seeing, new payment systems being created like Russia and China. We know it's a fact. We know recently we've heard Saudi Arabia talking about using the digital yuan and coming away from the petrodollar, which is the US dollar, right? Now, listen here. Let's take a look at this together. This is Jim Rickards right here, who wrote at the end of the last year, moving towards a single world currency. I say to you, it really should be, if I could dare to do it, a single digital world currency. And no, we're not talking about a central bank digital currency either. I want to move through a few points in this article very quickly for us, because I have some Ripple stuff to show you here before we get out of here that I think coincides with every bit of this. He says, so yes, the move towards central bank digital currencies is real. How does this relate to what is sometimes called the Great Reset? This would be the movement towards a single global reserve currency, which I believe will be digital. He says, the trend towards a single world currency is still, I guess, always real. It's just blocked here, but it's icon. But it says, things don't happen quickly in elite circles. Even Bretton Woods took over 2 years to design and another 5 years to implement, even under the duress of World War II. This transition from sterling to the US dollar as the leading reserve currency took 30 years from 1914 to 1944, as they say. It's complicated. At one level, there is no immediate change. A CBDC dollar is still a dollar. A CBDC euro is still a euro. Absent a new Bretton Woods tight fixed exchange rate regime, which I believe what the XRP Ledger decentralized exchange and the Ripple liquidity hub can be and serve as, these currencies would still fluctuate against each other. Our analysis would continue as before. Still, there are three huge changes that could emerge from the Great Reset. First is the new global currency regime would be an opportunity to devalue all major currencies in order to promote inflation and steal wealth from savers. All currencies cannot devalue against all other currencies at the same time. That's a mathematical impossibility. So with this, we know that the SDR review of the weighted average of the five major currencies in that basket has been delayed a couple times now, if not more than that. And the next review is scheduled to be July of this year, just months away. So now take a look at this here. So it says, yet all currencies devalued simultaneously against gold could easily drive gold prices to $5,000 per ounce or much higher to achieve the desired inflation. How about that one? Then listen to this. It goes on here to say it would be the CBDCs make it much easier to impose negative interest rates, confiscations, and account freezes on some or all account holders. This can be used for simple policy purposes or as a tool of total surveillance state, just like we've seen with China. Surveillance or incorrect behavior as defined by the Communist Party is the real driver for the digital yuan more than any aspirations to the yuan reserve currency role. Now just think about that for a second. There's your real reason to have a bridge currency right there, is to stop the total surveillance, whether it's the digital yuan from China or some other country. If you put a bridge currency in between everybody's money, it won't matter what they do unless you live there, right? The third change would be the widespread issuance of SDRs and their adoption as the sole global reserve currency. A new Bretton Woods could force countries to hold 100% of their reserves in SDRs, and major corporations could be forced to maintain their books in SDRs. This could lead to a fixed exchange rate regime with a peg base not on gold but on SDRs. So you can see the indirect relationship between all of these things, bringing you to something like a single world reserve currency that is not the US dollar. And I offer to you that if it's going to act as a bridge to isolate the ability for all the different countries creating digital currencies to track everybody's transactions, make negative interest rate adjustments, account freezes, isn't it true that XRP as a bridge currency is the only answer at this point? Stellar as well? I would think so. Well, let's take a look at what's going on around the world, because we know SWIFT is obviously very fractured and very flawed. And everybody around the world that doesn't like SWIFT and the U.S. sanctions that come through it are absolutely looking for alternative options and moving towards them. The Arab Monetary Fund has listed RippleNet as a direct alternative to SWIFT. Take a look at this very quickly. Now, we covered this report when it came out, but Ratha Kahneman reminds us all right here that when it comes to the central bank digital currencies and the Arab Regional FinTech Group report, what we showed you here a few weeks ago, right here, RippleNet being cited as an alternative to SWIFT. I mean, this is getting real, I'll tell you right now. And this is why I felt like this was so important when I originally said, don't sleep on this. The XRP Ledger decentralized exchange now supports USD Coin and USD Tether via GateHub and the first euro-backed stablecoin soon to come. Now, the USD Coin and the USD Tether are the two largest ERC20 tokens. This, to me, is absolutely massive when you take in account of what we're seeing now with inflation starting to go crazy. And there's even projections that we're going to see another 22% inflation before the year is possibly out. How about that one? And then to add to all of this momentum that's taking place, we know that, just as a reminder very quickly, right, Republic of Bhutan, we know, Central Bank of Bhutan, we know Republic of Palau, right, the Digital Euro Foundation, we're now will be hosting the Euro stablecoin. I mean, you tell me what's coming. What do you see happening? I can't wait to see your comments. But in the recent Ripple drop that dropped just yesterday, we heard Ashish Burla tell us that ODL, on-demand liquidity product, is close to achieving global coverage. How about that one? Take a look at this really quickly.
In more destinations. We're close to having global coverage of ODL, which is super exciting.
That is super exciting, Ashish. And it makes me think of what Rosie Rios from the Ripple board said a while back. The train has already left the station. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. This thing is really starting to take off at this point. I really do believe this. Make sure you leave a comment underneath. I want to hear what it is. We will, in the very near term, going to be doing a video on XRP fair market value. And no, I do not believe that it is 79 cents. And I tell you this, if you're wondering what to do about your crypto taxes, it's tax time. It's Clinton Donnelly. Check out all the links underneath the video. Great products and specials I use every day. And you got to click them to get the link, to get the specials and deals. I'll catch you on the next one.